welcome back to this last installment of Stewardship Campaign 2018. I'm here with Randy Young as he shares his thoughts on stewardship. Randy, what does stewardship mean to you?
Well, stewardship, covers a lot of ground, a lot of territory, if you will. And stewardship comes in a lot of different packages. In my mind, giving is a huge piece of that.
Right.
Is a huge piece of it. And if you look at giving, if you break it down into its elements, consists of a lot of different pieces.
How so?
And if giving is, you can look at it from the terms of monetary giving.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy. I mean, you can go out and you can do that and everything like that. But when you do that, sometimes you separate yourself from the actual
Right.
joy of the gift, and because you don't see the downstream impact of it. I think another kind of giving is your time.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, probably the most precious thing is the time that you give to certain things, whether it be some type of programs with regard to helping the needy, whether it be here at the church, and those kinds of things that really make up the broad spectrum of giving.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when you look at for example, giving your time, really you're giving yourself. You're saying, this is who I am, and I am there, I'm there to help you.
Right.
And anyway, to me, that is one of the most precious gifts there is.
So would you say that's the most important for you?
That's a part of it.
A part of it?
That's
Is
a
there
part
another?
of it. You have to, as you break it into its elements, that to me, that's probably the most, that's probably one of the most important parts. Another thing that you talk about is that in giving is opportunity. Opportunity comes in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It comes at you, for example, if you're downtown, it comes to you in form of people on the streets, or it may be somebody that's just trying to claw their way out of a situation, and they need some help. So there's when you look at opportunities, I know one time, and I can remember this like yesterday, but a guy came up to me and he said, "Why should I believe in Jesus?" And I was in a hurry. I was on my way to a meeting, and I didn't take the time to talk to him. I tried to find that guy and never did find him. So, and that was a missed opportunity. And that's what I'm talking about. Opportunities. You got to take the opportunities where they're offered.
For witness.
Yes. Yes.
I see. How would you connect your ideas of stewardship to this last Sunday's scripture of 2 Corinthians 9:6-8?
That's an interesting series of verses, and I tell you, it's it kind of sets in my mind kind of the attitude and things like that a Christian ought to live by.
Mm-hmm.
Giving is if you look at Jesus and what he did, as he was on this earth, look at how he gave. I mean, he gave of himself, and it was absolutely incredible. And as you read about him, and why shouldn't we do any different? If you look at Paul and what he did, he gave of himself, and then as he sent out, as the disciples were sent out, look what they did. And they gave of themselves, they gave their time, and things like that. So that in my mind, and were they cheerful givers? Absolutely. And if you look at what they did, is they set the foundation that we live on today. And
that's actually extremely true.
Yeah, and so anyway, sometimes when I compare myself and what I do to what those folks did, and the foundational thing that they set up, it almost makes you feel inadequate. And when you look at that,
are there any other influences that helped you set that foundation?
There are a lot of influences. Influences happen early on in life, and they happen at every stage of your life. And for example, I look at Janelle, and and anyway, we've been married 50 years, and she has been an absolute huge influence on my life. I watch her and how and how she devoted herself to teaching. It was incredible. And when you step back and look at giving,
Right.
okay, she had opportunities every day, and what she did with those opportunities was pretty incredible. And you can still, as we talked about earlier, you can still see influence today. There, a big old 6'3" kid will come up and hug her, and he remembers the first grade, and what Janelle did for him, and so those influences are incredible, and they're for life.
Right.
And another thing that I think of is that there are people that give and you never know it. The only person sometimes that knows it is the recipient of the gift, at least. And anyway, there's three people come to my mind. That's my dad, and that's my pharmacist and my father-in-law. And they gave not necessarily sometimes monetarily, but they gave their time. If they saw a need out there, and I hope generationally, this isn't a generational issue. I hope we carry it on. But it is really amazing to watch those three people and how they responded to opportunity, and they just did that. And anyway, I've always admired that, and anyway, but those are the kind of influences that it kind of shapes you, what you become. And what's really funny is a lot of times when it happens, you don't know it until maybe a year down the road, and then you think, wow, that's pretty cool.
I know. I've experienced that myself.
Yeah.
When I came back from Europe, I felt obligated to write a letter to the church because I found myself praying at this 12th century altar that I wouldn't have appreciated if I didn't have this home.
Isn't that something? That's awesome stuff.
It made me recognize that the influences that you and the rest of the congregation have been on me
But look at the investment. Look at the investment and how the investment pays off.
Right.
And that's and at least that's what it's all about. I mean, that is what it's all about. It's my responsibility, and soon to be yours, and to influence those people that's coming behind us. And that's a responsibility. That is a huge responsibility.
Very much.
So anyway, that's with regard to influences and people that make you what you are. That's kind of my thoughts on that.
Well, thank you for sharing them. Thank you for your time and for the service that we may not see.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Of course. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you join us this Sunday, as it is All Saints Day. If you're unfamiliar, All Saints Day is the opportunity for us to give thanks for all those who have gone before us in faith, for that great cloud of witnesses who have encouraged us and who still surround us may be celebrated. Thank you and have a blessed day.